Today, I'm going to talk about what we're believing God for in our lives. It's a lot, actually. I felt like the Lord led me to make this video. So I've made a list of areas that we're believing God for right now. When we got into ministry more than 5 years ago, the number of things that we were believing God for went up significantly. The number of risks, the number of variables. Part of that's moving to another country. Part of that is trusting God with your finances, But over the past 5 years, it's steadily increased the number of things that we're believing God for and the number of things we're asking God for. And this is the areas we're believing God for in our lives right now. I was able to convince Tasha to be in this video. She's going to help talk about the first category. Ready when you are, babe. So the first category that we're trusting the Lord for right now is our family. And we're trusting a lot of different categories in our family. We've always prayed about big decisions, but we started to pray about pretty much every decision. Where should we start? We got quite a few big decisions that affected you this year. We got a cat. Which was a big risk of faith for me.
And the dog.
And the dog.
Which was a couple of years ago.
We got the cat and the dog just because the Lord told us to, not because...
Told you, not me.
Told me
I
to.
didn't even bring up the idea.
I wish I could say that the cat and the dog are the biggest area of risk.
No, they're fine.
They've been the biggest area of blessing for you, probably. Maybe not
The
the,
cat
not the
especially,
biggest.
yeah, like
one.
the cat.
So we're constantly asking the Lord about every area of life, and sometimes He even speaks into things we're not wanting.
Well, He was already
asking.
speaking into it.
What did He tell you this year?
We were supposed to have another baby. And it's happening.
Tasha is pregnant. Our fifth
8 months.
is coming in January. She's 8 months pregnant.
Maybe December.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much were you originally on board with the idea of having another kid?
No, I wasn't really ready. I mean, I was on board in theory of having another baby, not the pregnancy part.
That was a pretty big stretch. And right at the same time that He was telling us to do that, He also told me that we were supposed to homeschool
This year,
which is, you were also surprised to hear that, and it was a stretch.
Yeah.
We were already planning on the kids going back to the school that they had been going to. They enjoyed it a lot.
We all loved it.
But the Lord told us, I want you to homeschool the kids. So that's been the story of your year. Mm-hmm. Is homeschooling the pregnancy.
Doing everything I wasn't planning on doing.
But we're, despite the challenges of those things, we can see that those were definitely God. And we're excited about both. But honestly, we're trusting God with our parenting, which seems kind of of course, you're trusting God with your parenting, but we're literally asking God, how are we supposed to handle these issues with our kids? I feel like I'm being stretched to care about things more than I care about things naturally. And I feel like you're being stretched to, I don't know, how would you say you're being stretched in parenting?
Waiting on you to catch up.
We're genuinely asking the Lord, should we have more kids? We're giving God the ability to tell us how many kids to have, which is, at times, is oh my gosh, what are we doing? Children are a blessing from the Lord, and we're excited about all of our kids. And I think most of me is just thrilled and excited about it, but there's also this sense of it's more resources, it's more of our time and energy. It's you being pregnant, you were sick for a while. Mm-hmm.
Pregnancy is the main thing that I have to have faith for, because I am really sick, typically towards the beginning.
And we're being...
I like babies.
Yeah.
I can do
but
babies.
Those babies turn into kids.
It's true, then you get a new one.
Those babies turn into kids that you have to homeschool, that you have to parent, and you have to contend for their faith and contend for who they are. And every kid's different, and I think it feels like a new blessing coming, but also probably a new set of challenges too. But we're trusting the Lord. kind of like the good old-fashioned large homeschooling Christian families that have a dozen kids or something.
Grew up around.
That we grew up around. I don't know how we got to this many kids. It happened very quickly, but yes, we're believing the Lord in this category.
Oh, it's Dad.
What's the cat's name?
Luna.
What does Luna mean?
Means moon in Spanish.
The next category that we are trusting the Lord for, that we've trusted the Lord for a lot over the last 5 years, is our ministry, our purpose. When your life is all about ministry, you find yourself wondering, like, am I making it count? Am I doing the right thing? I think in some spaces, maybe you get into a larger organization and you just kind of plug in and you fit. We've done a lot of wrestling, and our time in Norway, the whole way through Norway felt like, are we doing anything of value? Looking back on it now, we can actually see that the team that we built, that all the stuff that we were doing actually did have a big effect on the base there, the schools there. The base is in a healthier, more fruitful place, in part due to what we did there. But then there's a question of, like, what about our ministry now? And I'm, again, at times frustrated or wondering, wrestling with the fruitfulness of what we're doing. God's speaking. We're working with a bunch of different ministries, doing video work, video projects, courses, promo videos, filming events. I mean, all kinds of different things. And I can see that it's working, sort of, but it's also like a question of, like, are we doing the right thing? Is it with the right people? Are we supposed to do more different things? And a lot of what God's been doing in me has been teaching me to do not what I think is the best idea, but doing what He tells me to do, and not just doing what people want me to do, but wrestling with what He's wanting. And at times that's felt actually like counterproductive or frustrating, or like taking time to pray about things more. And He's really challenging me not to think about ministry from a perspective of how it looks to the outside, but how it looks to Him. Am I being faithful to do what He's asked me to do? Even here, this YouTube channel, He's told me, I want you to make videos consistently here. He's challenging me to do that. And then on the flip side, like, how our ministry appears to other people, to our partners, He's asked me to trust Him with that. And I'm having to really rely on His strength, not by power nor by might, but by my Spirit, says the Lord. It's Him that's doing the work. We can't do anything apart from Him. And so that has been another massive category of trust. And I've struggled to believe God for our ministry. The last major category that we are believing God for, trusting God for, is our finances. The reality is we live on support, and, like, in some ways, you know, we have a huge base of partners that are so consistent in giving to us. And so in some ways I feel almost like insulated from getting fired. But then there's also the constant, loss of support that slowly comes in and is sort of, you just don't know. You don't know how it's going to come in. And over the last 5 years, we have lost some support. And the Lord has kind of really put us in a posture of saying, I want you to trust me for your money, not your ability to go fundraise, not your relationships with people. I want you to trust me, and I want you to depend on me, and I want you to do what I tell you to do, not what makes sense or what seems right, or to respond to stuff. And there's been so many times when we've had financial needs, and the Lord has just totally met them and covered them, like unbelievable. He provided a car for us, like over $10,000 in money for a car when we first moved back to the States. He provided a way for us to get a house, the house that we live in now, which is amazing and cheaper than renting. And it's just so many things about the house have been a huge blessing. But it's a constant state of believing Him. And right now we're believing Him for the money for our daughter's birth. Her name is Olivia Grace. We're also believing Him for other expenses in our house. Some fairly boring, but still real. Some that are like monthly. And, God has continually told us to trust Him in this category. He's even challenged me this year that I'm not trusting Him with money in the way I spend money, that I can sometimes be, even like the way that I spend money on small things can be fear-based. Like I can just be so worried about a few dollars when he's wanting me to trust him by spending a few dollars on something. Anyway, there are many things we're believing him for. If you are wanting to pray with us, we'd love for you to pray with us. I'll put a link below to how you can join our newsletter where we share updates, prayer requests, that kind of thing. And I'm going to be launching a Patreon soon. And that Patreon is going to be an opportunity to partner with us. And I haven't done any fundraising on this YouTube channel, and I, in a lot of ways, don't feel like it makes total sense to me. But I feel like the Lord has told me, hey, I want you to open the door for people to partner with you who believe in what you're doing, who want to be a part of it. And so if that's you, check out the Patreon. More information on that coming. But thank you guys for watching. We're super thankful for you. Leave us a comment and let us know what you're believing God for right now, and we will pray with you too.